Good morning, beautiful people. How's everybody? I hope y'all doing all right. Let's get into this Job. Listen, when Job comes up in the lectionary, I usually choose something else because Job is a difficult read. I don't like the book of Job. I don't like it. But let's read the scriptures the lectionary has for us this morning. Job 1, verse 1. There once was a man named Job who lived in the land of Uz. He was blameless, a man of complete integrity. He feared evil. He feared God and stayed away from evil. Then we get the rest of the story. Man, Satan comes before God. God says, have you considered my servant Job? Okay, that's the first place where I have difficulty with Job. God, please don't mention me. Don't mention my name to Satan. Like, I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't want it. And throughout this whole book, finally, after a decade at the bedside, I recognized what is happening. So maybe you've heard of the term theodicy. This is, why do bad things happen to good people? That's what Job is about. Why do bad things happen to good people? I mean, we get from the very beginning, Job was a blameless man, a man of complete integrity, a good person. And throughout here, we see his whole family destroyed, his house, his children, his livestock, everything he had worked for. And then, to top it all off, his health. And why? That's the question of the theodicy. Why do bad things happen to good people? So after a decade of being at the bedside with patients, this is a question that I hear a lot. Why? And what I recognize about the book of Job and what I recognize about Job's friends, they're trying to make sense of what's going on. That's what the why question is. Trying to make sense of what's going on. Why? I ate right. I exercised. I didn't smoke. I didn't do drugs. I didn't drink. And I have incurable cancer. Why? I did everything right. I worked. I saved for my retirement. Now I'm in the hospital dying. I can't even enjoy my retirement or the money that I saved. Why do I have this chronic illness and I live with pain every day that I wake up? Why am I struggling with this mental illness and every day I wake up is a fight? Why? And to be clear, I don't know. And that's the answer I give a lot of people at the bedside. I don't know why. And what I love, finally, about the book of Job is not trying to figure out why. His friends are. Maybe you sinned. You had to have sinned. So they're judging Job in the middle of the worst time of his life. His friends are like, oh, you had to do something. Be careful of them friends, because God made them repent and apologize to him at the end, by the way. Be careful when you start judging people who are going through a bad time because you think you know. Be careful. Don't judge folk. You don't know what's going on in their life. They might be blameless and going through a hard time. I feel like that's the first lesson. Keep your mouth off of people. You don't know what folks are going through. 2, Job doesn't try to make sense of it. But what Job does do is make meaning. Job uses his faith to get through this situation, to help him cope with all that's going on. And let's be clear. A lot of what happens to Job is life. People get sick. Tornadoes sweep through towns and destroy folks' whole livelihood. Folks find the love of their life And then that person is struck with illness and they end up taking care of them for the rest of their life, or worse, the person dies before they can experience their dream of living out their lives together. Life is rough. So please don't judge people when they're going through rough times. But two, sometimes things just don't make no sense. They just don't make no sense. And we want it to make sense so bad, as if that would remove the pain somehow, as if things made sense, it wouldn't hurt so bad. I'm here to tell you, the answer to that why is not going to take away your pain or your grief at your loss. So I talk about in my grief groups what to do when things don't make sense. Make meaning. Meaning making is an intentional choice in perspective. And Job chose his perspective. Hey, naked I came into this world, and naked I'm going out. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. But the name of the Lord gonna be praised up in here. Job chose his perspective. So meaning making is an intentional perspective. What are you going to do when life happens to you? What are you going to do when things don't make any sense? How are you going to choose your perspective when, man, everything is falling apart all around you? How are you going to choose your perspective in that moment? Do you still trust God when things don't go exactly the way that you think they should go? Do you still trust God when your life looks like it's in ruins? Do you still trust God? That's, to me, that's the lesson that Job himself, even if Job ain't a real person, has to give. No matter what happened to Job, Job trusted God. And Job let his friends talk him into questioning God. So he asked God a couple questions, and then he was like, my bad, God, you got this. you know. But Job chose to make meaning of what was happening to him. He chose to use his faith to cope with everything that was going on. And listen, we know that at the end of the story, Job gets his fortune and children returned, but Job didn't know that when Job was in the middle of it. Job didn't know what was going on. Job did not know he was going to have his life returned to him and some. And yet in the middle, Job still kept his faith. Look, God is not a genie granting our multiple wishes. Being a believer does not keep life from happening to us. Being a believer does not remove pain from our life. We still gonna go through life, because that's life. And so what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with what happens to you? How are you going to take all that happens to you and make meaning with it? You've been down and out, and then you come out. What are you going to do with that down and out? Are you going to help people that are now down and out, or are you going to be like Job's friends and you going to judge them because they must be sinning? They must do something. What are you going to do when things don't make sense? The choice is to curse God and die, as Job's wife said, or to make meaning of all that is going on with you. To use your faith to help you cope until things get better. And to stay in the fight. God is still good, even when bad things happen and things don't make no sense. I ain't used to like Job, but I get it. You with me? I love y'all. And I really do mean it. That's your Sunday sermon. Have a great day.